been in fires a lot. No matter how experienced you are, you got to have somebody on your shoulder telling you that, you know, they're backing you, because you don't know. There are times when you say, hey, God, just get me through this. You know, I'll be a good boy, and I'll go to church on Sunday. I'm going to take care of everything. Get me through this.
The battleground. It's very important to know the enemy is fire and how the enemy spreads, convection, conduction, and radiation. And you got to know your battlefield. You're going to do battle on the fire ground, so you got to know the battlefield.
The best thing could happen to all of my people would they run into all of you. The whole secret of this business, I think, is to know your job as intimately and as interconnected as you possibly can.
The premier position that the workers in this room have put this service in is that we are the most popular service, we're the most accepted service, and we're the most trusted service. Now, the worst thing that can happen to us is that we get complacent and we don't keep agitating each other, and we don't keep asking the kinds of questions that we are asking here.
To be able to work at an occupation which brings tremendous personal satisfaction, and to enjoy the association with the marvelous people we have been privileged to work with, makes firefighting enviable to those sentenced to much more mundane walks of life.
Somewhere in this room, there is someone that will be up here on this stage accepting this award in the future, because this is the group that is the leadership of the fire service.
I think, like most people that have these things happen to them, they realize that they really stand on the shoulders of people who have gone before them, people who have stand next to them, and people they admire.
I would never have thought that my efforts to be a good firefighter, fire chief, and most of all, a good steward of the National Fallen Firefighters Foundation would have ever brought me to this point in my life. But it has, and for that too, I am deeply grateful to everyone who's helped me make it possible.
To the FDIC fire engineering family, and to my beloved friend, the late Steve Alk. As a team, there was nothing we could not accomplish in making this the greatest fire service conference in the world.
It will be all of you, the true leaders of the fire service, that keep the torch of tradition burning intensely, that will steer us through these turbulent waters and allow us to emerge an even stronger and more resilient fire service.
You're the best and the brightest the fire service has to offer. And I would encourage you to attend as many classes as you can. Take the knowledge you gain, bring it back and share it with your team, and above all, be all that you can be. Thank you, stay safe, God bless, and buckle up.
This award, it's a testament to a pursuit, a calling, a sharing of knowledge. We understood the phenomena of smoke movement through the stack effect, but we didn't associate that with fire behavior and the fact that if you were in a position of smoke and fire travel, you were in the barrel of a shotgun.
Mentor, train, share with everybody, make a difference. Love this job, and to anyone that doesn't, to anyone that disrespects it, show them the door.
This is a real privilege to do what we do, and it's a joy. I notice today sometimes when we get into the tactical discussions that it gets pretty bitter and nasty amongst some people. I think Bobby mentioned it this morning. Keep arguing, keep talking, but don't take it personal.
I'll never forget the sense of pride and thrill and exuberance that I feel when I see my name in fire engineering that has been published for well over 100 years. To all of you, thank you very much, and may God bless us and keep us all safe in our most noble of professions.
I'm not sure if I've met you yet, but you are out there. You might be Sam, you might be Samantha. I don't know who you are, but you are my replacement. You are the brother or sister that is stepping up to start carrying the torch.
Whether you're on the job for 1 year or 30 years, we all have something to learn, and we all have something to teach. Training is the most important activity for every firefighter, every company officer, and every chief. Our training defines us and has a direct impact on the level of service that we all provide to the people that depend on us.
And as much as you loved him, he truly loved all of you. So, here's to you, Bobby. Congratulations, you were worth it.
Every time that I come to FDIC, it really
recharges my batteries and invigorates me, and I hope it does for you too. I hope all of you have a great conference, learn as much as you can, and take it all home, and listen to Benny Crane. Be a student of the game until the day you die. God bless you, and thank you.
Please welcome the daughter of Chief Tom Brennan, Ms. Eileen Brennan, accompanied by Chief David Rhodes.
Good morning. It is an honor to be here with you all, members of the greatest profession in the world. I want to share a little with you about a man who lived and breathed the fire service, my father, Tom Brennan. After high school, my dad enlisted in the Navy, serving his time on a submarine. Unsure of his next steps, his father sent him an application for the FDMY exam. My father didn't know much about the job, nor did he know his father was the most highly decorated firefighter in FDMY history at that time. So he ripped it up. Luckily, his mother knew him so well, and at his next port, she sent him another application. This time, she included the $5 application fee. So he filled it out and sent that one in. Days after returning from the Navy, he took the test. And in 1962, he followed 2 generations before him, officially becoming a firefighter. Though a 3rd-generation FDNY member, he had never set foot in a firehouse before that day. He had no idea of his father's legacy, or that his grandfather had died in the line of duty, burned to death along with his entire engine company in a Brooklyn Union gas fire. 6 members of Engine 251 were lost that day. It was FDNY's greatest loss at the time. But once my father stepped foot in that firehouse, he never looked back. For over 20 years, through the war years, as the FDNY called them, he responded to more than 30,000 calls. He was a longtime volunteer on Long Island, and he earned his bachelor's degree in fire science from John Jay College of Criminal Justice, graduating with honors near the top of his class. He retired as captain at one of FDNY's busiest companies, Ladder 111. But his true work had only just begun. Determined to help firefighters make the best possible decisions in the face of fire, he became one of the most important fire service educators of his generation. His expertise in forcible entry techniques and truck company operations became a gold standard. He fought for better regulations, and he testified across the nation. That mission took him to President Bush, to Congress, to leaders of the FBI, DEA, and branches of the U.S. Armed Forces. His message was clear, and his impact was immeasurable. As editor-in-chief of Fire Engineering, he saw an opportunity, not just to write about the job, but to help shape it. He once said, "This is the chance to talk with, not to, the brotherhood and sisterhood of the fire service." And that's exactly what he did. For 17 years, firefighters across the country would pick up Fire Engineering and quickly flip to that back page and read his Random Thoughts column, because they knew he would tell it like it is. But what really made my dad truly remarkable wasn't just his knowledge or experience, it was his heart. He traveled the country teaching firefighters, often for barely more than the cost of a plane ticket. When we asked him why, his answer was simple: how can you put a price on teaching firefighters how to come home safe at the end of every shift? What would be an acceptable price to ask? And in the silence that followed, he simply said, exactly. He'd sit down for a meal, and he would talk with anyone who wanted to talk or had an idea, telling us the best parts were the conversations he had after, spending time just shooting the breeze with the local firefighters. His writings, national training presentations, and work in contributing to the development of the National Fire Academy curriculum all came from his drive to make the fire service safer. He went on to serve as Fire Chief of Waterbury, Connecticut, continuing his mission to improve training, safety, and accountability within the fire service. And even when cancer knocked on his door, he never wavered. He continued to write, attend conferences, and advocate for the profession he had dedicated his life to. In 1990, he won the Distinguished Alumni Award from John Jay College. He was the co-editor of the Fire Chief's Handbook, 5th edition. And in 1998, he received the Lifetime Achievement Award. This very award we're giving out today. But more than anything, he was brilliant. He was funny, and he could tell a story like no one else could. He was a firefighter's firefighter, and he loved this profession to its core. When I was asked, what would it have meant to him to have the Lifetime Achievement Award carry his name? My only response was, well, everything. To the past recipients, to today's honoree, and to the innovators in this room who will one day stand here, we congratulate you. The Brennan family thanks you. My dad would thank you. The fire service is better because of you.
Awesome. I can say I was lucky enough to know the man, get to ride in the car with him, and learned a lot of lessons. It's phenomenal. I'm definitely one of the ones that stands on his shoulders for sure. All right, the fire service is built on leadership, innovation, and unwavering commitment to protecting others. Qualities that define Robert Morris Sr. We all know him as Bob, the esteemed recipient of the FDIC 2025 Tom Brennan Lifetime Achievement Award. With a distinguished career spanning over 5 decades, including 40 years with the FDNY, his current role as chief of the Stamford, Connecticut Fire Department, Morris has been a guiding force in fireground operations, technical rescue, and firefighter training. Colleagues describe him as a firefighter's firefighter, a visionary leader, and a mentor whose impact is felt across generations. Whether rebuilding FDNY Rescue 1 after 9/11, developing pioneering forcible entry techniques and tools, or instituting groundbreaking operational improvements in Stamford, his contributions have shaped modern firefighting. Known for his humility, quiet confidence, and dedication to excellence, he has influenced countless firefighters, not just through instruction, but through the example he sets every day. From Harlem's war years to the highest levels of command, Chief Morris has exemplified what it means to lead with knowledge, courage, and integrity. As a very young member of the FDIC hands-on training team, I met Bob when he was running the forcible entry class with Carney, Charlie Smith, and the gang. He had sent me a list of bolts, screws, and locks that he needed, and back then, we were begging, borrowing, and acquiring things from local fire departments in order and ordering off the local fire department's accounts. Our team didn't know where or how to get half the stuff he asked for, so we did the best we could, but it wasn't the right stuff and it wouldn't work. I took Matt Stewart out to their site at lunch so we could talk to them and see for ourselves exactly what they were doing, and maybe we could get it fixed for the following year. We walked into the structure, introduced ourselves, and we got the cold shoulder from just about everybody except for Bob. He set his sandwich down, got up, and personally took us to each teaching station and did a demo explaining why they needed this particular lock or this particular spec screw. We got it right the following year. I have an immense level of respect and developed a long-time friendship since that moment. That's Bob. This award is not just recognition of achievements, but a tribute to a lifetime devoted to service, innovation, and the brotherhood of the fire service. Please welcome Bob Morris to the stage.
Well, thanks for that. It's amazing, and you know, I'm not. I don't need a teleprompter, believe me. It's not the way I operate. But I'm going to say a couple things. I looked at the list of the previous award winners, going way back, right to the beginning. The first one was Frank Brannigan, who I had. In fact, I knew I knew a lot of the people who actually have gotten this award over the years. I worked with quite a few of them. So Frank Brannigan is on there. Tom Brennan is on there. I have a few things to say about Tom Brennan. And Vincent Dunn, the first three. And you know, I knew all three of them. So let's get to Tom Brennan. All right, Tom Brennan. So I started the FDNY in 1973. I worked in, you know, some of the busiest companies in the city. You know, it was amazing. It's exactly what I wanted to do. It's what I felt so lucky and blessed to have a job like that. And I worked in a house where the guys were, you know, it was one of the busiest companies in the city. But it was a house where knowledge and study, not only doing the job, but actually learning the job, the basics of the job were very important. And one of the first things the guy said to me, I'm a probie, you know, first you're a probie, then you're a Johnny, right? You're not a probie no more, but you're still learning, so you're Johnny. And then you become a fireman, okay? It takes you a little bit. So I'm a probie now, and they go to me, he says, you want to get in the study group? I go, sure. What's it entail? Just give me $5, okay? So then they bought books, and everybody's studying for lieutenant, including me. Because if you want to learn the job, you really have to get in. You have to get into the job. You have to start studying. So these guys that I came on with, and the senior guys, all were students. Many of them did very, very well throughout their careers, including up into the highest ranks of the fire department. But I learned right away. Yeah, first you really got to, you know, you're on the job. Then you got to learn about the job, and then you got to know the job, and then you can teach the job. Okay. So I took that same thing. I always wanted to really get it down right. Believe me, I don't like making mistakes at all. And I was 20 years before. I was 20 years on the FDNY before I really started teaching that much. That's why, you know, the 50 years that I have, well, it wasn't all teaching, because I really had to know the job. So rolling forward, I remember Tom Brennan, our beloved father over here, and his style fit me to a T. And the first time I met him, I'm not a probie, I'm not a Johnny anymore, I'm a fireman, okay? And I'm in a rescue company. You know, I'm in a rescue company, I'll leave it at that, okay? We come back from a fire, and we stop at a firehouse. And this is a very, very good truck in Harlem, 40 truck. And Tom Brennan was the newly appointed captain there. He ended up going back to his beloved Brooklyn, of course. But I remember going upstairs. After the fire, we stopped back for something that was routine. I don't know what it was. Maybe they stole one of our tools or something. We were trying to retrieve it. I can't remember. Probably. Yeah. So I go up into where everybody's hanging out, and I see this captain sitting amongst his people, his guys. Okay, and first of all, he's larger than life. He's himself. He's there, and he's holding court, and they're going over the fire, just like a good captain is supposed to do. And we talk about that now, but that is what you're supposed to do, okay? You go over the operation, okay? So I just said hello, goodbye, and took up. I ran into, now I get promoted a little bit after that, and I'm covering around, and I'm working in Brooklyn. I see Chief Cassano sitting over there, so he knows about Brooklyn for sure. He was the commissioner as well. Anyway, I go into this truck company, 111 truck, and I relieve Tom Brennan. So, you know, just like you come in early, he goes over the riding list with you. This is your chauffeur, his regular chauffeur. These are the guys who'll have the irons, who'll have the can, who's going to be in the bucket as the OV, and who's going to have the roof. Just same old stuff. He says, by the way, it's a night tour. He says, by the way, you might get a visit from a deputy chief. And I go like, yeah, how come? He goes, well, this was right after Medal Day. He says, apparently at Medal Day, some of the boys acted up a little bit, and there was a little bit of a problem with one of the deputy chiefs at this particular Medal Day after party. And he says, I think you're going to get a visit from the chief tonight, so just be aware. So there's another encounter with Tom Brennan. And I attended he used to do these seminars. They'd rent a hall or something, and he would do a seminar, and I always went to him. And I liked his style from the first day I met him as a fireman in 40 truck. I liked his style when I became an officer, and I liked the way he taught. It fit the way I like to do things. And his forcible entry stuff, listen, who is not interested in forcible entry? Everybody likes forcible entry. It's like, you know, it's like one of them things, who doesn't like it? Everybody knows something about it. Everybody's had a problem trying to force a door at one point or another. Sometimes it's pretty darn embarrassing. And everybody, you know, wants to know more about it. So all his stuff on forcible entry was very interesting to me. And I took it like, okay, this is really where I'm at. And the way he would always get up and present was just, you know, if you're going to copy a style, copy somebody you really like, and you can kind of do something similar. Not as good maybe, but something similar. So later on, Tom Brennan becomes the editor of Fire Engineering. And by the way, Fire Engineering has been in my life. The first book I bought, and it was a long time, and I even asked my wife about it. I said, when did we actually buy this book? It was like, she said, I think I remember writing the check. The first book I bought was a Fire Chief's Handbook going back to the early 70s. Fire engineering's always been a big part of my life. I still read books. I have, you know, a library. I pull books out. I just pulled out Vincent Dunn's Collapse of Burning Buildings. It's one of the best books ever written. I gave it to my assistant chief. I go, you ever read this book? He goes, yeah, it was on our reading list. I go, read it again. Take a look at it. I look at this stuff all the time. I go back to the stuff all the time. And I've read them many times, but there's always something you pick up in there. So, you know, getting back to Tom Brennan. So he's retired. He's editor of Fire Engineering. He becomes chief up in Waterbury, of all places. I'm from Stanford. You know, I grew up in city of Stanford. I know about Waterbury. So I'm a captain now. I'm a captain in 28 truck, which is, that's the Hilton, you know, by the way, those who don't know it. And Ray knows exactly what I'm talking about. If you're on the FDNY, you know about 28 truck. I'm the captain of 28 truck, but I'm asked to do a seminar for the Connecticut Bagpipe Band. They're just starting a band. They want to make some cash, and they're asking me to do a presentation. Half a day, you know, it's free, free-o. And I'm going to do one part of it, and Tom Brennan's going to do the other part. And I said, well, you know, I'm going to do truck operations because, you know, that's kind of like what I do. And he's going to do truck operations because he's Tom Truck. So let's face it, everybody knows about Tom Brennan. I go, you know, I hope I go first. I hope they put me the morning session and he's the afternoon session. I hope I go first. I really want him to, first of all, you know, he's like my hero when it comes to this stuff. And I go like, man, I want him to see my presentation so I can get a critique on how I could do it better. And Tom Brennan was a big factor in my life. I just wanted Eileen to know that. And when I saw I was getting this, and you know, I don't seek most of the things in my life. I didn't look for them. They look for me, and they find me. So happy that it was in his name, Tom Brennan Lifetime Achievement Award. Let me get back to one other thing. I said I wasn't going to talk long, but I'll talk a little bit longer. I'm going to tell another story. And this is, you'll understand this, the people who've studied for promotion over the years. So I was a captain, and I'm studying for the BC's test, this BC's job. We have a test. It's a hard test, very hard test. And I did okay, but not great. There was 4 questions on Brannigan's book. Now, I read Brannigan's book because I like building construction. I went to, if you look at my bio, I went to trade school. I was always about construction. And that book was a good book. I loved that book. And I knew that stuff cold turkey. I knew it all. Or not know it all, but I knew it very well to answer questions. I get 4 questions wrong. One of the other captains goes, you know, I got the same questions wrong. I says, you know, there's something fishy here. Let's do a protest. So the New York City guys know how that works. You can do a protest. I says, you write the protest. He writes up the protest. It looks good to me. I says, you know, I could probably go to Frank Brannigan because I met him. I met him through teaching at the New York Firefighters Burn Center seminars. We used to have those on weekends. You did it for free. They have 4 instructors, 5 instructors. And I used to go on the podium with Frank Brannigan. He was the top guy. So I contact him and I say, hey, listen, I think I got these right. He looks, I send him the protest. He goes, you got them right. I says, I said, would you endorse my protest? So the guy who's writing the protest for me goes like, you can get Brannigan to endorse the protest? And I go, yeah, he said he would do it. So he endorses the protest. You know, I'm the middleman. I'm not doing any of this typing or anything else. There's other guys submitting it. I said, well, here, you endorsed it here. Take it over, you know, send it over to personnel. Send it over to, you know, Department of Personnel. He comes back, he says they denied it. I said, how can they deny he wrote the book. So this is, you know, this is New York City. I mean, like, so I call Brannigan. I call Frank Brannigan up. I used to call him chief, you know, professor. So I said, listen, they denied it. He goes, why? He says, they don't believe I got this. They think it's fake. You have to now go out and get it notarized and then send it back to him, registered mail. So I go, I says, will you do that? He goes, yeah, you know, there's like about 8 inches of snow out there, and I'm in my 80s. But yeah, I'm going to go out. He says, you know why? He says, New York City will never change. Nobody ever believes anybody. So he did it. You know, and the story's not over yet. We did it, and we get the protest. I get on the list. I'm pretty good up on this BC's list. So, of course, some of the guys I work with know I don't take the promotion. I said, I want to defer the promotion, but I'm going to turn the promotion down. I go to the commissioner at the time. He has a fit. He has a fit. The chief of department at the time has a fit. You are not turning down this promotion. You are going to take that. He says, okay, listen. The commissioner at the time says, listen, you go down and you talk to First Deputy Fire Commissioner Bill Feehan. And if he says it's okay, I'll go with it. I go, okay. It's worth a shot. I go and talk to Chief Feehan. He had been chief of department. He had every rank in the New York City Fire Department. Lost his life on the 11th, one of the great tragedies of many. So I go to him, I says, Commissioner, I think I'm going to turn down this promotion. He goes, why? I go, he says, you know, I really like being a captain. I really like going into fires. I really like doing that part of the job. And by the way, I feel I have at least, this is what's close the deal, by the way. I feel like I have 10 more miles of hallway to crawl down. And he went like this, and he goes like, okay. He signed it. I brought it over to the commissioner. He says, how did you do it? He had another fit. He says, okay. He says, you can defer it. And I did defer it, and knowing all these great people through teaching, Vincent Dunn, Tom Brennan, Frank Brannigan, I know a lot of the guys on that list, and I've seen a bunch of them just this morning. It brought so much into my life, made me a better fireman for sure, and a better officer. Be a good fireman, be a good officer. That's kind of the way it works. If you can do that, you know, you really hit a home run. And I see Commissioner Cassano sitting there, which I'm so happy to see him. And on my last day, so now I'm timing out. I mean, I rode the thing right to the end. This is my birthday at midnight. I'm timing out. So that last day tour, I had a great ending. I had a great second alarm down in Chinatown. My last run was a good fire with an explosion, partial collapse, people trapped. You know, we got some people out of the top floor of the fire. There's another person trapped on the second floor. We got him out. It was a great fire. I come back to the firehouse, and there's a whole crowd there. And among them was, you know, of course, I mean, I think the borough commander was riding with us, which probably shouldn't have done. But I see the commissioner there, and I go, Commissioner, what can we do? He says, listen, I had to retire too when I was 65. So, you know, you really love the job, and I really do. And I met so many great people. Fire engineering has brought so much into my life. And I really, it was a great ride, and I appreciate everything that's come to me.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.